Sir, we'll wait for 2 minutes, sir.
Yeah, that's okay. No worries.
So we'll start the session, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. On behalf of SRM IST Ramapuram, we welcome you all for this day 5 session, 2 weeks International Virtual Professional Development Program on Data Science, a revelation of modern digital era associated with CSI Chennai chapter, organized by the Department of Computer Application. I extend my warmest welcome of our today's chief guest, Mr. Ram Balachandran, machine learning scientist, Complexica, Australia. Let us begin our session. Now I invite Dr. Papita, Assistant Professor, Department of MCA, to introduce our today's guest speaker.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry, are you speaking? I can't hear you.
Sir, is it audible for you, sir?
No, I'm only able to hear you, not Ms. Papita.
Good afternoon to all. I am extremely delighted to take an opportunity to introduce the chief guest for the day. Dr. Ram Balachandran is currently working as a lead machine learning scientist at Complexica at Adelaide, Australia, focusing on developing artificial intelligence machine learning solutions to optimize promotions for large FMCG corporations. He obtained his PhD from University of Michigan, one of the top engineering colleges in USA. After his PhD, he worked as a research fellow at US Department of Energy. He has then worked at various roles across large Fortune 50 corporations to small hyper-growth startups, leading diverse teams from different backgrounds. He has over 10 years of experience in developing artificial intelligence, machine learning driven solutions for customers across multiple industries such as oil and gas, manufacturing, mining, and FMCG. He has published 20 original research papers, including one in your IPS, one of the top artificial intelligence machine learning conference in the world. These publications have been cited over 700 times by researchers across the world. Welcome you too, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the introduction. So thank you for the invitation. I'm really happy to talk to you all. Um, yeah, so I can get started. So can I, or is there anything else? Or,
No, sir, no, sir.
okay.
You can
All
start,
right.
sir.
All right, give me a second.
Okay, sir.
Uh, Thank you very much. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
It's sir. It's visible for us.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So again, thank you very much for this opportunity, and I'm really happy to talk to people and students back. I was brought up in Chennai. I did my school in Chennai. I did my undergrad in Chennai. So I had a lot of friends in SRM. So it's nice memories. I've been there for like annual celebrations and things like that. So uh, just to get started, since I got the introduction already, sorry. Yeah, so I'm just going to skip directly. You know about me, and I can tell a little bit about the experience that I have just to set up the stage. So I have worked across as introduced across different types of problems. I started off as a mechanical engineer, trying to understand materials and designing, working mostly on oil and gas and solar and batteries. So that's how my journey started into AI and machine learning. So what we faced a severe challenge on how can we improve performances, right? And then like whatever the conventional approaches we had were not enough, it was not scalable, and so we as part of the improving the process, I started working on machine learning, and I had all the other backgrounds, so picking machine learning was okay, it's not difficult. So this is one of the papers that we published, and I have published quite a few papers. And I also worked on computer vision, especially trying to use computer vision for manufacturing applications. So one of the novelties that I worked on is multimodal. Multimodal is you don't just use images, but you also use other information like lidar or infrared. And the reason is in a lot of manufacturing applications, there is heavy noise. Like the noise can come from just vibrations, heat, and so being able to design machine learning solutions there requires a lot of input data from different sources. So just this is just to set the stage saying, yes, hi, I have worked on different applications, and I'm sure you heard from a lot of other speakers over the past 4 days about various applications of machine learning. So just probably to summarize, and if you have any questions, please stop me or you can message me and I can see. Yeah, so the idea is for me not to just tell what I'm doing, but the idea is like maybe I can answer some of your questions and help you in your journey as well. So most likely what happens in, so I'm just trying to set up the stage of like what typically probably you experience in AI or machine learning or data science when you're in college is you have a well-defined problem. The problem can come from your advisors, professors, or you yourself, like where you find a data set in Kaggle or other resources. And then what you do is you try to take the data set and then you try to build models for that, right? Like the models can be like, how accurately can I predict, for example, an object detection in computer vision, or for example in NLP. And then you try to optimize the model, and then once you have the best model, you publish it in Kaggle or you publish it in papers, whatever. So this is most likely the setting that you're going to. So what I wanted to talk about is slightly different. I want to talk about is what happens once you graduate out of college, right? What happens once you are into the industry, into the business. Now you are hired as a data scientist. Then what happens? Uh, it's a lot more fun than college, that is for sure. um, what happens is the first thing is you don't know what is the problem. The problem is completely, I would say, uncertain. Like, because most of the time the people that hire you for a problem don't know AI, machine learning, data science itself. They just want to use this to improve their business, improve their process. So they have a very vague statement like, I want to make more money, or I want to reduce cost thing. And the other thing is the data is very uncertain. You don't know what kind of data they have, what quality of data they have. You don't know the budget, you don't know the time constraints, you don't know the metrics that you're going to, they just say create business value, right? But how do you do that? That's the biggest challenge. So yes, there you are going to build an AI machine learning model, but how is going to be used? Who is going to use it? How are they going to use it? And who is paying for it? How is it being validated? So there is a lot of uncertainty that is there around this. So I'm not sure if you look into job postings for data scientists, but if you don't do that, I strongly recommend you to do that. Like, you can look into Monster Jobs or Naukri, I guess. What happens is, beyond your skills on machine learning and Python, they will ask you about skills on Azure or cloud architecture or Tableau, visualization, things like that. And the main thing that I want to cover, at least in this talk, is trying to understand what are those different requirements, why do they post them in the job description, how does that interact with AI and machine learning, and how can you try to have a little bit of understanding of those surrounding things so that you could be better prepared be- beyond designing better models. So that is what I want to talk about today. And I will cover machine learning as part of it, but the idea is machine learning and AI is going to be embedded within a software that somebody is going to use. So ultimately, being able to deliver the software is what counts as a success for the business. So I can't talk about my actual work because it is confidential. So I'm going to talk about a fictitious company, okay, Adventure Works. So let's say, but this is very close to the kind of work that I do on a day-to-day basis. So let's say Adventure Works is a fictitious wholesale bike selling company, bicycle selling company. Like, he's a wholesaler. So they sell to other small cycle shops, like Decathlon or something else, right? Or even like smaller shops from which the other customers buy. So the idea is you meet the sales and marketing head, you are a data scientist consultant, which means they're going to hire you as temporarily to solve the problems. And what they want to do is they are excited about AI machine learning, but they don't understand it. And then they tell you, hey, can you help me to increase sales by using AI and machine learning? That's all they're going to tell you. Increase sales is very vague. There is so many things that you can do to increase sales. Like, if you reduce cost, your sales is going to increase, but that's probably not what they mean. They mean is like, I want to hold my profit, but then still increase sales. So the thing that I want to emphasize is, once you are into the business or company or corporate situation, AI and machine learning is just one of the many tools. It is a very important tool and it is a growing tool. A lot of people want to use it, but ultimately it is just a tool. And the tool, it is a tool that they want to use as much as possible to improve their business. Like, in this case, increase sales, for example. And so the first thing that you're going to ask them is, hey, okay, tell me a little bit about your company. And then he's going to tell you like, okay, I have 300 employees, I have 500 products, I have about 20,000 customers. Since they are business to business selling, they don't have a lot of customers, and they made up only about 31,000 sales. But each sale is going to be huge because you're going to sell probably 50 cycles or 100 cycles to each customer. And what they want to do is they also tell you a little bit about the company, saying on a year to year my sales is being increasing by about 2%, but I want to make it 3% this year, which means the additional 1% needs to come from your AI machine learning model that you're going to build for me. So just to give you some understanding, I've written in dollars, but it is the same in rupees. Okay, so let's say like 3 lakh dollars is same as like what, 5 crores or something. But anyways, so that's their profit increase that they are looking for, which which is the 1%, which, and they say they have about $1 lakh to invest. So which means like every dollar they want to spend, they want $3 back in increased sales. But they don't want to spend immediately all the money. What they want to do is they want to spend only 15,000 first, which is very small money, right? Like, so the thing is like, what can you create something that is valuable for someone else in $15,000 or 50, or even like 50,000 rupees, just a number, right? But it should be something that they can use, and then they can improve their own situation. That's one of the biggest challenges. And the big challenge when you start working in AI, you will understand is it is very, very custom. So which, when I say custom, is one, the kind of model or the solution that you build for one customer, one company will be complete, or even with for one particular problem within the company will be very, very different from trying to solve f- for another problem. Like the model will change, the data will change, the expectations will change, everything will change. So but the guidelines are going to be the same, which means like you have to show like usefulness. When I say like insights or something, it's like how actionable they are. Like they need to be take that insight, and they should be able to use it and make money out of it. So the first thing that you're going to say is, hey, okay, can you tell me about your data? Because everything starts with data, and you need to understand how much data that they have. And just to give you context, most of the organizations, except for the top, I would say the tech companies like FANG, like Facebook, Apple, or Google, world mostly is driven by SQL and Excel. So most of the data is going to be in SQL, most of the data is going to be in Excel. There is going to be a lot of data that is corrupt, that is a lot of missing data, a lot of data that needs to be reconciled. That's how the data is in real world. That's one of the big challenges as well, like when you start doing problems in real world. And they're going to tell you, okay, I have a little bit of data about my customers, my transactions, my products, my employees. That's all I have. They don't have any data about competitors or how much they price, and they don't have any good data about the marketing that they do, like email marketing or anything else. They have not stored any data. So that's the thing that they have. But now they are like, you, how can you help me to increase sales? So one of the big challenges that is going to, I'm not, I mean, this is, I'm just telling you as an information. Like nobody is going to expect you right out of college to do all of these things, and I've learned this through a process over many, many years. But this is the process that you are going to go through, right? I'm just trying to tell you the information of how these models get built, how the value gets delivered. So when you say increase sales, you can do a few things. You can optimize the pricing. But when I say optimize the pricing, is change the pricing based on the customer, based on the product, based on the situation, time, everything. But the biggest factor in that is you are not the only person selling in the market, right? You have competitors. So you need competitor data, which they don't have. So you can't go that route. The other way to do is you can do promotional marketing, like saying like I will do more targeted email campaigns or advertisements, targeted advertisements for customers. But the problem is they don't have any data of what kind of marketing they have done, what kind of customer uptake was there. Like for example, so you can't do that. What's the easiest to do is you can do cross sell and upsell. What is a cross sell? When so maybe I hope you guys. So when you go to a small shop and when you like a பொட்டிக்கடை, right? And then you say, okay, அண்ணா ஒரு டீ கொடுங்க. Like when you say go and ask for a tea, and then he looks at you, and if you are a male over 20, he's gonna ask you, தம்பி வேற ஏதாவது cigarette வேணுமா? Right? Sorry, don't. I'm just giving an example, but that is cross sell, which means because he knows a lot of people buy these things together. And similarly, upsell is when you go to a shop and then you say, I want a 27-inch or TV. He says, I can give you a discount on 34-inch TV. That is upsell, like trying to sell better product, which gives them better margin. That's the only option you have. What I'm trying to tell is AI is, hi, yes, I see a hand. Satyendra. Hello? I can't hear you.
Hello, sir.
Yes. There was a question.
Participants, you have any question, you can ask. Okay, sir, we'll ask in the end of the session.
That's fine. Okay, I'll
Okay,
go ahead because I saw a hand up, so I just stopped. Okay.
okay, sir.
So formulating the problem that you want to solve is as important as solving the problem itself, because the way you try to formulate the problem determines how much money it will take, how much people it will take, how much computing resources it will take, how much time it takes, everything. Right? If you formulate the problem wrong, I wouldn't say wrong, but which cannot be solved easily, which means it cannot be it cannot show value, and if it cannot show value, it's not going anywhere. After a month or two, they're going to say, sorry, I don't think we can use it, just kill the project, right? And then that's not the kind of the thing that you want to do. So the idea is, when you are out of, or even when you are in the college, try to learn about a business that you're most interested in. It could be e-commerce, it could be anything, right? It could be retail, manufacturing, whatever. The idea is of a data scientist or a machine learning scientist who also understand business is very rare in the business, and they are actually extremely sought out compared to a data scientist who doesn't have a business understanding. So understanding the business is as important at a high level. You don't need to know the transactions or anything, but at a high level, how the business operates, how the money is made, what kind of processes happens, what kind of people are there. Trying to understand that is very useful. So the thing is, okay, now you have 15, let's say 50,000 rupees, which is probably a salary for two people. I would say just one person, right? Okay. What can you do? In 1 month, that is useful for the customer, right? So like if you start with a full blown problem solving, saying I will do customer segmentation, I will build recommender systems. No, there is no budget for that. There is no time for that. So one of the simplest things that I like to do is so in this kind of situation is, what are the top selling products that you have? Probably it's a mountain bike, a derailleur, brake, frames, whatever, right? Like there are going to be certain products that are top selling. So, and these are the products that the customer comes back to buy from you again and again for variety of reasons. Probably you have the best brands, you have the best whatever reason. And the idea is you can go through the purchase transaction histories that they have, and then you can find out what are the products that are bought together, right? Like I have just made up these numbers, but this is the kind of the analysis you can do. And if you take time to learn SQL, this is just a single query that I have put it up there. You can solve it in like half an hour, but ideally getting to that, but the data cleaning part is going to take a lot of time. But once you have a clean data, consolidated data, running this query is is trivial, is very easy. So once you have the query and you have the information, you can just give it as an Excel sheet. You don't need any fancy things. You just give it to the business and then say, hey, these are the products that we see are being sold together. So go, and whenever a customer comes and buys a mountain bike, ask him if he wants a helmet. Or whenever a customer comes and makes an order for brakes, ask him if he wants a lubricant, or vice versa, right? Because these are the products that are that are being bought together by most of your customers, and that is creating value, which means now they have an actionable outcome that they can use from the insight that you got. There is no machine learning yet, but even with just simple SQL and data transformations, you can create value. And that is actually what ultimately the business values, right? What you can do that can help me. So now they can go and give it to their customer service agents and then say, whenever this comes, try to ask for the cross-selling product and see what's the uptake. And then maybe they test it out for a month and then they come back and tell you, this is fantastic. We made a lot of money from this. Now, can you build us the entire solution? And that's when you try and to go and build the entire solution. And this is something you will learn very well in college. And you'll learn very well from like Coursera or online, Kaggle, anywhere. Because now you have the data. Now we have like you can do micro segmentation of customers, you can do segmentation of products, and then you can build fancy recommender engines that says, okay, for these customers from these micro segments who are buying these products, build a recommender engine to suggest all the other products, right? But so this is the algorithmic exploration or model building phase that you will learn a lot throughout your coursework. But the other things that you have to think about is, unlike colleges or schools where you are expected to work alone because you have to learn, in industries you have to work together. So which means the things that will come up is who is working on what, and so that one person doesn't do all the work while the other person just sits there ideally. How do you manage the data? Because the data is very, very important. There is a lot of regulations that is coming across the world, including India, on having strong privacy around data, right? You don't want to any of your data to get leaked, so you need to manage your data. How do you manage that? Like maybe you can have cloud and VPN and things like that. You'll start learning it. And then let's say you are working on your laptop, but if your laptop crashes, what happens? How do you save your data? Like you need a remote server, you need version control, or if you make a really bad mistake and then your model is all off, if you want to go back, how do you do that? And let's say if you want to test 100 models, but you have to do it in 2 weeks, you can't do that in your laptop, right? How do you do that? Like you need to scale out, you need like cloud computing resources. And then how do you show constant progress? This is a term you will learn a lot when you come to industries, is agile, which means do small work, but keep moving rapidly and then help people to build the applications. So, and then once you have built the product, you have built your solution. Now the solution, now the end user, who is probably a salesperson, doesn't know how to use Jupyter notebooks, doesn't know how to use Python. There is no way they are going to use that if you just give them a model and say scikit-learn.fit and scikit-learn.predict, right? So how do you do that? You need to embed your machine learning models into a software that people can use, typically like a web server, like a website, right? Like web servers are the most common type of solutions. Nobody builds desktop apps anymore. So how do you do that? The way you do that is application programming interfaces. APIs are basically every time you write a domain and you click enter in your browser, that's an API request going to the web server and coming back. You will probably know these things, but the important thing to understand is APIs are the key foundations for most software solutions, and you will need to learn to put your core or models, your awesome models that you have built, that is extremely useful, but it needs to talk to other parts of the software, right? Like the user interface, database, backend, everything. So you need to learn a little bit about how do you wrap your models on a programming interface. So there is a lot of easy things that you, I mean, I would say there is a learning curve, but they are fairly easy. Like Flask, Django, Fast API, they're in Python. Or people are like, nah, we need Java, which is very common in Android applications and also desktop applications, Spring Boot, for example. So now you have built your awesome product, awesome machine learning model, and you have also put it in a software that they can use. But then finally, the person who is going to come and buy, is paying for the software, is going to ask you like, can you tell me how useful is the software? So once you put it to users and the users are starting to use, you need to collect data about how they are using, and then you need to present it in a way that the people can understand, because most of them don't understand machine learning, but everybody can read a graph. Like everybody who's working in top positions can read a graph. So visualization, I mean, I have seen some data scientists don't think visualization is not part of data science. Visualization is absolutely critical when you are actually working in an industry, because that's how you tell your narrative. That's how you tell us like your story of what you did, how you did it, why is it useful. So I mean, here I've just put a sample one. Like, for example, right, you're saying that only 0.5% of your recommendations of cross sells are being taken up, and only 4% are being taken up. And quickly you will realize this is not a software problem, this is a people problem. People are the biggest, I would say, resistant part of any software. Like if a company wants to deploy AI, machine learning, anything, ultimately the people who use it should be receptive. If they don't want to use it, it becomes very hard. So this is also something that you will keep hearing about it. The technical term for this is change management. But the idea is, but what you can always argue is whatever the software recommends is accurate, because anytime the sales representative takes your recommendation, it gets converted. The conversion accuracy is almost 90%. So this is how the changes are always slow, but then this is how you tell them like, yes, so this is how the software is being used. It is providing really accurate predictions, like it is telling exactly what products can be sold together. And yeah, so it creates an entire, I would say, visualization tells stories. And like again, this is also an important part. I think I'm not sure if you guys use, but I strongly encourage using dashboard solutions like Tableau is free. I think you can just, if you have a student edition, you just can't, you have to publish your dashboards, but it's free to test it out. So visualization is an absolute important part of data science and machine learning and AI. So what did I, so the summary is, I just wanted to tell you what it feels like to build AI and machine learning solution once you are in industry and in the outside world, because technological, I would say, expertise is only part of the solution. The bigger challenge, or which would make you stand out, is being able to understand the business requirements and then think about it and then say, okay, if that's the business requirement, this is probably the technical problem that we need to solve, and if this is the problem we need to solve, this is how we can solve it. This is the model, this is the solution, this is the framework, these are the metrics that we are going to measure, this is how we are going to measure. Everything starts following from that on. the idea is you need to be able to break down what you're building into smaller parts so that you can show rapid progress, like that what they typically will be calling as proof of concept. And everything will be done as part of teams, right? Like you are never going to work alone. You're always going to be working as a team. The idea is, how do you build models together as a team? How do you scale out? It in a fast iterative process. And so the idea is you'll also have to learn a little bit about adjacent technologies, not a lot, but just to understand how they all fit together. And also finally, data scientists, machine learning scientists should be excellent storytellers, and you should be able to create visualizations that help you tell your stories, right? Because ultimately every solution is very customized, every model is very customized for the kind of, even if you go to Kaggle, right, two very similar problems, object detection, but you still would have to customize the models independently. You will have to have your hyperparameters tuned independently. Even your architectures might be different. So every time you create a customization, you need to be able to say why was it done, why, and how is it improving. And so being able to do all of that will make you a more successful machine learning scientist or a data scientist when you start your careers. So that's mainly the kind of the thing that I wanted to tell. It's little different from what you would probably have heard about transformers, deep neural networks. Yeah, I mean, these are all the fundamentals of AI and ML. These are all the things you will learn from your professors, and you can learn from like MOOC websites. But when you actually start working, there is going to be a lot of other outside things that you need to be aware of, and you need to know what I mean. I just wanted to give you a flavor of what are all the other things that go into becoming a successful machine learning scientist. So that's all I have to say, and I am happy to answer any questions. And that's my favorite attitude. Never stop learning, never, always be curious. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. The session is open to audience now. Audience, you can post the questions in chat box. If you have any question, you can post the question in chat box.
Is somebody trying to talk? I can't hear.
Sir, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
The
Thanks
session
for your
was
time.
the session was very useful and informative for us as well as to all the participants, sir. You clearly stated the business settings in AI and ML, and also in the academic area, and also you inform about the formulating technology problems and business services. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. And yeah, I mean, I'm always happy to talk to students, so anytime. So yeah, thanks.
Thank you,
And
sir.
yeah, please reach out if you have any questions later as well. So
Yes, sir, sure, sir. Now I request Dr. Arun Kumar, sir, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good evening to everybody. Ma'am, am I audible?
yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I am extremely feel happy to propose the vote of thanks for the 5th day of this 2 weeks international virtual professional development program. I am extremely thankful to Mr. Ram Balachandran, machine learning scientist, Complexica, Australia, for really giving the actionable insight using data science. The topics covered in this session was really useful, and it really gives different views of the insights and the data science concepts. Thank you very much, sir. In between your tight schedule, you have given a very good information and a very good insights to us. Thank you very much for your presence here. I also thank all the participants here
Thank you.
for eagerly gathered here to know more knowledge about, to gather more knowledge about the data science field. Thank you one and all. I thank the management, coordinators, and the conveners of the program once again. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. And yeah, I mean, I know it's Friday afternoon, but thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Dear participants, feedback link is posted in chat box. Fill the feedback link.
Yeah. Thank you. And I'll look forward to seeing your feedbacks. I don't know if I get that, but and if you have any questions, please post in the feedback forms as well. And I can try to answer.
Sir. Sure, sir. If you receive any questions, surely will forward to you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, sir.